Hello, and welcome to another edition of Body Metrix, the show that gives you practical ways to incorporate healthy nutrition into your current lifestyle. I am your host, Adrienne Delgado, and I am a registered dietitian working in a private practice right here in our community. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about sports nutrition. In our office, we educate a lot of athletes who are trying to get the competitive edge over their opponents. But another large part of our practice is helping those looking to lose weight, get healthy, and add more exercise to their everyday routine. Whether you are a competitive athlete or a resolve to make 2016 the year you start moving your body, this show will give you practical, helpful tips to make the most out of your exercise plan. Pop quiz. You find yourself hungry a half an hour before a workout. Which pre-workout snack would be your best bet to grab? A, a protein bar, B, a candy bar from the closest vending machine, C, a handful of trail mix or granola, or D, a meatball sandwich? Hold on to that answer and we'll come back to this question at the end of the show. When we come back, we are going to dive into the ins and outs of sports nutrition and identify 3 things you can do right now to improve your sports performance. Hi, and welcome back to Body Metrix. Today's episode is all about getting the most out of your exercise routine. Before we took a break, I mentioned we were going to address 3 things you can do right now to improve your performance on the field, court, or neighborhood gym. Let's get started with number 1, reduce added sugar. The typical American eats way too much sugar. In fact, in 1822, the average American consumed roughly 45 grams of sugar, which is about the amount found in one 12-ounce soda every 5 days. In 2012, that number jumped to an average of 765 grams of sugar every 5 days, which is equivalent to 17 sodas. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 to 9 teaspoons of added sugar daily, yet the average adult eats 22 teaspoons per day, and the average child eats 32 teaspoons per day. Not only does excess sugar lead to diseases like obesity, diabetes, hypertension, depression, headaches, and fatigue, but it most definitely will hinder your sports performance. You see, eating foods high in sugar will cause a rapid rise in blood sugar, but it will also lead to a crash below normal levels, leaving you feel tired. To ensure feeling your best all day and while exercising, focus on eating complex carbs like sweet potatoes, peas, carrots, oatmeal, beans, and lentils, as well as fresh fruits like bananas, raisins, and pineapple. Choosing complex carbs before a workout will also prevent low blood sugar during a workout, which can lead to headaches, feeling lightheaded, and ultimately decreased performance. And finally, eating a nutrient-dense pre-workout snack can help absorb gastric juices, which can settle your stomach and prevent hunger pains mid-workout. After your workout, it is also important to eat within 30 minutes to help replenish your muscle stores so you are ready to go when you need energy again. Remember, only carbohydrates can quickly refuel your muscles and prepare you for tomorrow's workout. Your post-workout recovery should not be a hamburger or fried chicken. Rather, choose a fruit-based smoothie, pizza with veggie toppings, pasta with a few meatballs, or a grilled chicken dinner with grains and vegetables, and even grab some fruit. Number 2, hydration. Hydration is so important to performance. If we aren't appropriately hydrated, our muscles won't contract properly. Symptoms of hydration include thirst, dry mouth, fatigue, headache, loss of strength, and inability to focus. A good rule of thumb is to drink half your body weight in ounces every day. But the more active you are, the more water your body needs. Drink roughly 16 to 20 ounces 2.5 hours before your event. Drink 16 ounces 30 minutes before your event. And drink about 4 ounces every 15 minutes during your activity. For more intense exercise, measuring your sweat loss after a workout can be a helpful tool for hydration replacement. Weigh yourself before and after your workout. For every ounce lost, replace with 1 ounce of water. You will also be able to tell how well you are hydrated by looking at the color of your urine. If your urine is pale in color and plentiful, you are on the right track. Now, in regards to Gatorade and other sports drinks, there is a time and place for incorporating these beverages into your routine. Sports drinks are designed to replenish electrolyte deficiencies caused by intense exercise. Walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes or playing t-ball in the backyard does not constitute as intense activity. Be sure to choose varieties without high fructose corn syrup or artificial colors. Energy drinks, which are commonly consumed before exercise, are generally comprised of caffeine, guarana, taurine, and carnitine. There are many studies about caffeine, but the other additives still need more research, especially in young adults. For example, taurine is an amino acid naturally occurring in meat. The general intake is 40 to 400 milligrams per day, but energy drinks may provide up to 5 times that amount. Safety is not known. However, we do know that taurine can influence our blood pressure and growth hormones. And because energy drinks fall into the category of supplements, please note that there are no requirements for safety testing, no requirements for warning labels, and no requirements for restricting sales to minors. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll highlight one more way to improve your sports performance immediately. We'll be right back.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, and welcome back to Body Metrix. Before the break, we discussed 2 ways to improve your sports performance. 1, reduce sugar, and 2, proper hydration. Let's jump right into number 3, nutrient-dense foods versus energy-dense foods. Now your first question may be, what does that even mean? Nutrient-dense foods are those high in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. B vitamins in particular are important because they assist with turning food into energy. They can also help cells multiply. It is also important to note that B vitamins are interdependent, meaning they help each other function. If you are deficient in one B vitamin or more, it will affect the function of other B vitamins. Great sources of vitamin B are whole grains, meat, milk, and milk products. Another challenge is choosing processed food over whole grains, fresh fruits, and vegetables. The problem with choosing processed foods, such as those found in boxes and packages, is that they have been so processed that most of the vitamins and minerals are removed. These products then become enriched, meaning the nutrients are added back chemically, but our absorption of them decreases and we don't get the full health benefit. So an easy tip to remember when looking at nutrition labels is to avoid the word enriched in the ingredient list. Antioxidants have been shown to be helpful in our bodies because they minimize damage created by free radicals. You see, every normal body function, such as breathing, exercise, and even unhealthy habits like smoking, produce substances called free radicals. Behaviors that cause an increased use of oxygen in the body can create free radicals, which then can attack healthy cells. Antioxidants from our foods bind together with free radicals and remove them from our body, minimizing damage. Examples of antioxidants are carotenoids, found in red, orange, and yellow foods like tomatoes, carrots, and sweet potatoes. Aim to eat the color of the rainbow every day to get a balance of antioxidants in your overall diet. Now, energy-dense foods, on the other hand, are those foods with calories but minimal nutrients. They provide energy in the form of calories but do not provide vitamins and minerals to turn that food into usable energy. The brain will always prefer nutrients over calories, meaning when your body is deprived of a nutrient, your brain will give you the signal it is hungry to try and replenish the depleted source. If you don't replace the needed nutrient, your brain will continue to send hunger signals until the need has been met. If you are eating energy-dense foods instead of nutrient-dense foods, this could lead to a lot of excess calories. The bottom line to all of this is eat foods that rot. Foods that rot have life in them: vitamins, minerals, nutrients. Foods filled with chemicals that can sit on a shelf for 6 to 12 months are not in your best interest ever, but especially if you are active. So let's revisit the question I asked at the beginning of the episode. You find yourself hungry a half an hour before a workout. Which pre-workout snack would be your best bet to grab? A, protein bar, B, candy bar from the closest vending machine, C, a handful of trail mix or granola, or D, meatball sandwich? The answer is letter C, a handful of trail mix or granola. The protein bar will give you protein, which is important, but not your body's preferred fuel source for exercise. The candy bar will give you a ton of sugar, which will give you immediate energy, but most likely in 20 minutes, you will crash and feel fatigued. Letter D, the meatball sandwich, is just too heavy to eat half an hour before an event. Most people can tolerate a half a gram of carbohydrate per pound of body weight 1 hour before moderate exercise, and 2 grams of carbohydrate per pound of body weight 4 hours before moderate exercise. Most athletes believe they should exercise on an empty stomach. However, research suggests otherwise. Because athletes vary in their ability to tolerate pre-exercise food, you need to experiment during training to learn which foods and how much of them work best for your body. Some popular choices are oatmeal, cereal with low-fat milk, bananas, bagels, and pasta. Avoid large, hard-to-digest fatty meals such as burgers and fried chicken. Runners may only tolerate small amounts of food, while cyclists may be able to tolerate more since they are in a seated position. The key is to experiment which foods work best during training and not to try anything new the day of the actual event. So there you have it, 3 practical tips to take your performance to the next level. When we come back, I'm going to show you a quick, delicious granola recipe that will be sure to fuel you both before or after a workout.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it. You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Hi, and welcome back to Body Metrix. Before we left for commercial, I promised to show you a very simple, fast, delicious granola recipe that will not disappoint. This recipe is great because you can use it as a pre-workout or post-workout snack. For this recipe, you will need 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats, a half a cup of walnuts, a half a cup of almonds, a half a cup of pecans, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of real maple syrup, and a half a cup of raisins. This recipe, like I said, it's so simple. What we're going to do is just add all our ingredients to the bowl. So I have our 3 cups of oats. And now I said in the beginning you should probably use quick rolled oats, but I'm sorry, you could use rolled oats or you can use the quick oats, whatever you have on hand at home. To that, I'm going to add a half a cup of the pecans. All right, I've got a half a cup of my walnuts and a half a cup of my almonds. Now, nuts are so good for you. They're great for the healthy fats, they're high in fiber and protein. Sometimes nuts can be a little expensive at the grocery store, so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go to the bulk food section and I'll get them that way. That way you can buy exactly what you need and you don't have to buy any more. Another thing for this particular recipe is sometimes in the baking section you can find the nuts already broken apart, and they're already in half-cup servings. So that's another quick tip for you. All right, in addition to all my nuts and oats, I'm going to add the 1/4 teaspoon of salt, the 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/2 cup of my raisins. And then finally at the end here, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of my real maple syrup. Now again, this is an important tip. You want to buy the real maple syrup. Like the Aunt Jemima syrups and all of those pancake syrups have a lot of high fructose corn syrup, and that's not what we're looking for. After you put all the ingredients in the bowl, you're just going to mix. It's that simple. Now this granola will be a little piecey, but the maple syrup will allow some of it to clump up. So depending on what your preference is, if you like it more crumbly, then don't put as much syrup in. And if you don't want to put a ton more sugar into it, this is what keeps it healthy, when you're able to regulate how much sugar goes into it. All right, that looks good right there. Like I said, very quick and simple. All right, after we're done, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. We're going to take a sheet pan and we're going to spray it. You want to make sure it's greased really well, so you can use a cooking spray. Spray that down, and you're just going to put your granola right onto your baking pan. And then I usually just take my spoon and kind of press it down. All right, you want to preheat your oven to 300 degrees. And once you've got all your granola pressed down, you're going to bake it for 30 minutes. And that's it. You don't even need to turn it halfway, and sometimes that gets messy when you're trying to flip things over in the oven. So just stick the granola right in the oven, 300 degrees for 30 minutes. And that's it. When you're done, it comes out looking like this. All right, now again, this can be used for a pre-workout snack. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get the little Ziploc bags, the snack bags, and I'll put a 1/4 cup of the granola in there for a pre-workout snack. Another great idea is you can use it post-workout, and you can make it into a parfait. So I have a little bit of plain Greek yogurt here. I got some berries at the grocery store. So we got some fresh strawberries and blackberries. And let's top it with a tablespoon or 2 of granola. And there you have it, very quick and easy. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you learned some practical ways to change up your nutrition to enhance your overall sports performance or time spent exercising. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.